Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Liberal White Dudes and our holiday special. I am Andrew,
I'm Jared.
I'm AJ.
and we are Liberal White Dudes. Just before we jump into
That
the
we are.
holidays, we're going to talk a little bit about the most recent news. There's been a lot, and it seems like these news cycles will slow down, hopefully, with the Biden presidency because there's just nonsense every single day with Trump. But we had Pat Robertson, who is age 90, um, come on with his face has fallen off his face.
Worth noting.
I haven't seen him in a while, and he said, "Yeah, Trump lost, and you should give up and move on." So hopefully,
Yeah.
some of the evangelical right heard that.
I don't know. He's looking rough
Okay.
though. But I will say I think it's funny that he originally said that the Lord told him Trump's going to win.
Yep.
I'm just wondering why that never comes back up.
Yeah.
Why doesn't
Yeah.
anybody ask that question?
Lord called me
I don't
again,
know.
and he backtracked a little bit. He's
Right.
like,
Is that the explanation? Like I'd
There
be
was
like,
some
"Pat,
accounting errors on God's part. That's
Yeah.
all it
Yeah.
was. Just some
Re-
clerical errors made by the angels.
recounted,
how it is.
didn't win.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah,
So,
I'd be like, Pat, I just have one question. What's the deal with that? Did God change his mind or what? Just give me the deets. I
Yeah.
just need to know. Someone ask him.
walk me through it.
What's the
Um,
explanation?
Other thing, we've got the vaccine rolling out. We've got two things right now that the right and the left seem to agree on. One is the vaccine is good. We've had a bunch of hypocrites step to the front of the line, like Marco Rubio and
Rand Paul and
yeah,
Lindsey Graham.
yep, any number of folks getting that needle in their arm because, of course, they are.
right.
Because it's a global pandemic and terrible here in the United States. So yeah, I actually know some folks personally who have gotten the vaccine. So it's awesome. We're seeing it truck out, and everybody seems to be on board.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
good. Yeah, that's great news.
Also saw Fauci get it, which good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Protect that guy.
Keep that guy
Um,
around.
The other thing is the stimulus package, and I was going to talk a little bit about how the right and left agree on $600 not being, basically anything. And it's funny. You kind of want to say to the right wing folks who are saying that, it's like, hey, that's socialism. That's what that is. That's a handout.
Social welfare from the government, them giving you money
Yeah.
Right.
because you need it. That's
Don't disagree with
literally
it.
the
I think
thing.
they should be. And every
Yeah.
other civilized country is doing way better than we are in helping those who need it. But it is something the right and left seem to agree on, that $600 is just kind of like a, hey, don't pay your rent, but maybe you can go get a little bit
Yeah.
of food or
I
something.
guess. I don't
Something
know.
for all. Yeah.
I don't know. If after 8 months, I don't know what you do with $600. Um,
Yeah.
there are some suggestions on Twitter, so
Yeah.
if we want to take a look at that. Trump also handed out a bunch of pardons today to a bunch of just terrible folks.
It's Pardon Palooza.
Yeah, we should expect some
should've-
more of that.
We should have made a graphic that was just like Pardon Bonanza.
Duncan Hunter, longtime congressman and longtime Trump supporter, got one. He just did terrible things, and it's like, yeah, nobody cares. Just go ahead and
Ugh.
delete that from your record.
Ugh.
Last but not least, in the most recent news, two folks who handled the Trump accounts for Deutsche Bank resigned recently as the New York
Abruptly.
district attorney's office is going after them for those records and things. They just abruptly quit. So something to
not-
watch for there.
It's a bit of a flag.
Yeah, curious.
Seems how
There'll be
odd.
some
How bizarre.
exciting news next year around all that financial nonsense. All right, let's jump into the holiday part. Now,
Yes.
kind of want to start with the holiday of Hanukkah, since it's already behind us, the Jewish holiday. And we have someone here, special guest on the show, friend of the show, Aaron, to talk to us a little bit about Hanukkah, because he celebrates Hanukkah. Welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm awesome. How about you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about Hanukkah.
Oh, what do you want to know? Do you want to know about what the actual holiday means or how we celebrate? Or
Sure.
just kind of
Yeah.
go
What it
along?
means to you. I mean, even more on
Sure.
a personal level, how you celebrate it. It recently ended. Yes. Am I accurate? in
Yes. It ended, I believe it was last Wednesday night. And essentially, it's 8 days. We light candles for 8 different days. And everybody kind of does their own thing nowadays. But with the way my family does it, I've got 2 boys that are 9 and 6, and we give them each a present every night because they like getting presents every single night. What
Sure.
9 and 6-year-old boy doesn't?
Yep.
Aaron, you converted me.
I'm in.
Welcome to the club.
It's right on the show.
We could always use some more. But for example, my sister who has older kids, they choose to take one big present, and that's what they do. So, and essentially it's just however your family wants to do it. I mean, if traditionally you're supposed to actually not even give gifts, you're supposed to give money or geld, but it's like being in this country, we've kind of adopted it as being as close to Christmas as it is on the calendar, that we just kind of, okay, you get presents instead of money.
I got a question. So for me, I celebrate Christmas. I was raised Christian, but for me, Christmas is really no longer a religious holiday. Is Hanukkah a very religious holiday for you and your family, or is it more superficial at this point, kind of the way I feel about Christmas?
Well, Hanukkah really, in the grand scheme of things, is not one of the biggest holidays in the Jewish religion. So because it's not necessarily one of our major holidays, it's not a very religious holiday. It's more of a traditional holiday than anything. And so, and because of the chronology of it, it falls right around Christmas time. It's bigger than it really should be because of the fact that we're in a Christian nation.
Yeah.
Societal pomp and circumstance. Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
You get lumped into the bigger, yeah.
Yeah, we can't leave those little Jewish boys and girls out, so we have to give them presents.
Hey, we're happy holidays on this show, Aaron.
Exactly.
Certainly are.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of Seders, and that was awesome.
They're fun.
Yeah. So yeah, familiar with some of the other holidays, but today we're talking about the holidays that happen around here, specifically Hanukkah. Thanks for being on, Aaron. Appreciate having you.
My pleasure.
A little bit about Hanukkah.
Woohoo!
Festival of Lights, as I understand it. Is that right?
It is.
Or Holiday of Lights.
Yeah, the Festival of Lights. It was stemmed from the fact that the Temple of Israel was destroyed, and they only had enough oil to last for one night, and it burned to light the menorahs for one night, and it burned for 8 nights. So that's why we do Hanukkah for 8 nights, and that's why it's the Festival of Lights.
Nice.
Right.
That's a good piece of info.
Yeah. Good historical context. Fun stuff.
All right. Gonna move on now to Christmas.
Ah, yes.
This is going to be AJ's bag. Thank you for coming in, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
And AJ, I'm going to start the clock on you.
All right.
Are you ready? Starting the clock on AJ. Talk about Christmas. Here we go.
Yeah. When I think of Christmas and what it means to me, I think of all the wonderful things the season brings. The food, the music, the gifts, most importantly, the warm embrace of family. And this year, more than any other, I realize how our country is a lot like our own families. Like it or not, we're in this together. So I'm actually going to leave you with a quote from Representative Joe Kennedy. He says, "We violated our founding promises before the ink was dry. We boldly declared we the people and promptly defined we as rich, white Protestant men. We staked out moral high ground of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and paid for it with human bondage, abuse, and suffering that we carry to this day. But embedded in that history is a slow and stubborn story that every generation shares, a journey to heal those wounds, an understanding fought and bled for over time that we're in this mess together whether we like it or not. So I say happy holidays, hug your families extra tight, and look forward to brighter days when we can truly expand the definition of we the people." And that's how I feel about Christmas this year.
Boom! On the minute mark.
Bam.
Right on it.
Killing the timing on that.
All right. Wow, there's a lot to unpack there.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that most stood out to me, of course, is holding your family tight, man. That's with so much family across the nation that I have not been able to travel to see, and certainly have not been able to hug. The pandemic has really put a wrench in certain portions of family intimacy.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I was seeing a lot of those parallels. I know in an earlier episode, Andrew, you mentioned how, at some point we are going to have to move on as a nation together, because we live here together, because we're in this together, this experiment. And so, our own families, our own, immediate families, at least I feel, are a lot like that sometimes. And I feel that's how we kind of are as a nation. So this holiday season, it was almost more apparent to me how like our country is like a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a lot of unwanted relatives.
Yeah. As you mentioned to Aaron, I celebrate more of a secular Christmas myself. I think Jared does too. And, the family piece is really the big piece for me. Getting together with your family, telling each other you love each other, giving each other some gifts, pagan symbols like the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Things like that,
just being around folks that you like to be around, and or maybe even sometimes don't like to be around, but still can share a good time with, right?
Christmas.
But it's Christmas, right? It's like, there's like some sort of tranquility that comes with that. It's kind of like an equalizer in a lot of ways. Just getting to be around folks that, and just share the love, share the experience.
Candy canes.
And candy canes. We need some candy canes and eggnog.
Candy talk.
Of course, yeah. The food part of it is the primary, definitely the best part.
That's definitely
hands down. Candy canes are awesome.
I know my figure wouldn't suggest this, but almost every holiday has a food aspect for me, and I very much enjoy it. All of them. Jared, moving on to you to talk a little bit about Kwanzaa. Could not find anybody who celebrated it. I reached out through my network of folks, didn't find anybody who celebrated it, or who knew anybody who celebrated it. But Jared,
I did some research.
Did his homework.
Did my due diligence.
Off you go.
I'm actually super interested because I don't know a lot about it.
I decided not to read about it either, and listen to Jared.
And let Jared wash me
over
over with information. I'm ready. I'm a roast.
So, in the 1960s, during the whole during the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. Karenga started Kwanzaa as a cultural holiday. So it isn't religiously based. It's about the culture and previous historical experience of African Americans and Africans. And it's supposed to be kind of a connector in that way to their heritage and their culture from Africa. So they have a Kinora instead of a menorah. Menorah has 8 candles. The Kinora only has 7. And there are 3 different types of colored candles. The one in the center is black, which represents the people. There's 3 red candles that represent the blood of their ancestors, and 3 green ones that represent the earth. And each day they light a different candle, and they all sort of stand for something different. So each day, so it's 7 days long, from the day after Christmas, so the 26th, until the 1st of January is when it's celebrated. It's supposed to be like a going into the new year sort of thing. And the first day, it's about unity, which is like your family and your community, and being in the sort of sense of togetherness. The following day is about self-determination, so speaking for yourself, creating for yourself, finding confidence in your own person. The third day is work and responsibility, so it's kind of like solving problems in your community and being an active member in parts of your family's life and parts of everyone's life, right? The fourth day I thought this was interesting was cooperative economics. So it's about maintaining Black-owned businesses and helping those people in your community, people that are, African Americans that run their own self-employed sort of stuff. The following day is about purpose. So developing your communities, restoring, and in particular, their specific wordage was restoring Black traditional greatness. So about, going back to their roots and understanding their heritage and, being confident in that and purposeful in that. The following day is about creativity. So you kind of create for your community, make your community more beautiful in any way that you can, support the people around you with your creative influence and with your art and all that. And the final day is about faith, and not religious faith, but faith in people. So having faith in the people around you. Yeah, it is.
That's a little tough one.
That's a lot of that this year, but
yeah, no kidding. Having faith in the victory of the struggle of Black people in general. So basically just having faith that even if times are hard now, they'll get better for you and for everybody, like they have been slowly progressing over history. I thought it was really cool. It's a really cool thing to me it came out of the whole, the civil rights movement. So it was during a very contentious time.
Yeah.
And they do. It's not a very widely celebrated holiday in general, but they do one of the biggest performances. I think it's at the Natural History Museum, or the. But they do a big performance about Kwanzaa, and it's one of the biggest like gatherings for Kwanzaa ever. And it's really interesting. They do like dances, and they have a bunch of vendors from around America that sell various traditional African stuff. They can sell in the museum for a day, which isn't a usually allowed thing. They can do that during Kwanzaa, during the experience of Kwanzaa, and during their festivities and stuff. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah,
really cool stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't like the idea of having a day of work and responsibility. I'm saying when I have holidays, like I have them off of work. And I do
free of responsibility.
Whatever I damn well please, but the rest of it, pretty good stuff in there. If my math is right, is December 30th would be the day for the Black-owned businesses piece?
I
confirm or deny that.
Don't know. Yes, that sounds right based on the math.
All right, so that's one day after next week's show. So maybe we suggest or recommend a Black-owned business.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To
we
celebrate
do that
on December 30th.
Sure.
And then also we will, do something, buy something from somebody or something.
Absolutely.
So,
I think it's great.
If anybody has any suggestions in the comments or the chat as to what businesses would be worth lifting up, let us know.
That's great. Yeah, that's so cool. I did not realize there was so much to it in terms of all the different days representing so much. I mean, it makes Christmas look like kind of garbage.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Aaron
does.
shows up, tells us about
It's such a
8.
It just sounds like such a tremendous holiday with so much purpose and positive influence in your community. And Christmas is just kind of like, get some gifts.
We did go out one year. My kids and I went out and celebrated holiday cheer and gave out, like quarters at a laundromat and, bought for people behind us at Jack in the Box or whatever, did a bunch of those types of things. But yeah, there's a lot less of that, it seems like, surrounding Christmas. It's more about punching the guy next to you so that you get the PS5 and,
elbowing an old lady for that NutriBullet,
Yes. Or just elbowing an old lady.
I've been there. We've all been there.
I mean, in my community, most of it are garbage, so.
Mostly just
shout out to my community already. All right.
Interesting stuff, though, Jared. That's good.
Moving on to AJ to talk a little bit about Festivus.
Yes, indeed. Now, Festivus
just
is...
a quick... Sorry. I know we're going to get a point from somebody. We're not putting this on the same level as any of the holidays we've mentioned previously.
No.
It's just something that occurs this time of year that everyone should know about, not necessarily respect. Go, AJ.
It's a good point, Andrew. I'm glad we included it, but certainly not putting on the same level of relevant cultural holidays. However, Festivus, I think, has a similar impact to the community, potentially, depending on how you look at it. So Festivus, if you're not familiar with the holiday, is a secular holiday that's actually celebrated on the 23rd. So there's still time.
Oh, nice.
It was originally created by author Daniel O'Keefe, who cites Festivus traditions being practiced in his family as early as 1966. Now, O'Keefe's son, Dan O'Keefe, co-wrote the now famous episode of Seinfeld, The Strike, which features the modern-day Festivus traditions that most people are familiar with. So the episode was broadcast in 1997. Plot essentially revolves around Kramer returning from work at his old job while dining at Monk's restaurant. George is opening mail where he receives a card from his father saying, "Dear son, happy Festivus." This, of course, leads Jerry and Elaine to discussing George's father's creation of Festivus, despite George not wanting it to be discussed. Kramer becomes interested in resurrecting the holiday when Frank Costanza tells him how Festivus was an alternate holiday in response to the commercialization of Christmas. So, if you're looking to celebrate Festivus, there's only a few traditions you need to follow. Customary practices would include, first and foremost, the traditional Festivus pole. This pole is an unadorned aluminum pole, preferably of high strength to weight ratio, according to Frank Costanza. The pole can just be displayed anywhere in the house, like a tree, as well as a Festivus dinner. The menu is up for interpretation, and while no alcohol is served at the Festivus dinner in the episode, I can't imagine any holiday gathering without it, so I say it's allowed. Drink away. Now, as far as what happens during or maybe even following dinner is the airing of grievances.
And I think
it's exactly what it sounds like.
and for this piece, like, you should definitely have some booze in you. I think that leads to a much better airing of grievances. Sorry, go ahead.
Agree. No, I agree. So, the airing grievances, which is exactly what it sounds like, consists of each person basically taking turns lashing out at others and the world about how they've been disappointed this year. This usually takes place immediately following dinner. And then, of course, there's the Festivus Feats of Strength. Now, basically, the Feats of Strength is the head of the household selects one person at the Festivus celebration and challenges them to a wrestling match. Tradition states Festivus is not over until the head of the household is pinned. In the strike episode, however, Kramer manages to circumvent the rule by creating an excuse to leave. But the feats of strength are entailed at the end of the episode, and failing to pin the head of the household results in Festivus continuing until such requirement is met. So keep that in mind. So if you're looking to ditch the pressure and commercialism of the holiday season, maybe find yourself a sturdy aluminum pole, gather your immediate family around, and air some grievances. And as they say, Festivus for the rest of us.
Festivus for the rest of us. And I mean, given 2020, I mean, airing of grievances, like, how are you gonna get that? How are you gonna get
basically just do what Trump's been doing on Twitter for the last 72 hours? That's the airing of grievances.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's a long list.
I guess week-long process.
Yeah, just airing your disappointment with the year, much less the people around the table.
Yeah. Yikes.
All right, thank you, AJ. Talking about Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us.
For the rest of us.
And I mean, you can celebrate that and Christmas. It's on the 23rd. Yeah. There's no Hanukkah. There's no Kwanzaa. One of the things... There's no Christmas. Festivus.
They talked about. They talked about
good, unadorned aluminum pole.
Yeah.
They talked about Kwanzaa when I was watching videos and stuff on it. They talked about how you can celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa all at the same, like all those, because they don't overlap at all. Like they're just in the same time frame. They don't have any overlap at all. So Festivus, do all of them
as well.
Yeah, just do really all the holidays.
Do the holiday season. All the
sounds expensive, but
December. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, one last thing for tonight's holiday special. By the way, those of you paying close attention will notice that I am eating Fig Newtons, the traditional, sponsor of probably some program somewhere. Not this one.
Not this one, unfortunately.
I am again mentioning them by name. Part of the holiday special. All right. We're going to end with "'Twas the Trump Before Christmas."
Let's do it.
'Twas the Trump before Christmas, and in the White House, Trump was still stewing, that fat, wretched louse.
The lawsuits were futile. McConnell has fled. What the hell was that stuff? Coming off Rudy's head. Melania has packed. Electoral College has voted.
I won by a lot. I still want to be POTUS.
Unfortunately for Don, the country had spoken. More votes were for Biden, and democracy unbroken.
When out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. As Kellyanne, DeVos, even Pence began to scatter.
Where are they going?
Trump thought.
The party is still raging. Are these ill-gotten gains? Are they no longer engaging? We still get donations. I'm still fleecing rubes. I'm still willing to talk about my daughter's boobs. We can mock the disabled. We can mock the poor. If we're not doing that, what was all of this for?
So he sits on his throne, squeezing out pellets, tweeting out nonsense to all of his zealots.
Sleepy Joe, Crooked Hillary.
All these taunts sent in anger.
Everything's a hoax.
Putting the country in danger.
Now here is a phrase that gives little Don a fright. Happy holidays to all.
And to all a good night.
All right. That was the Trump Before Christmas. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to our first annual holiday special.
Woo!
I give 5 figs to every holiday we talked about tonight.
Agreed.
Again, enough for Newtons.
All the figs. 20 whole figs.
Did not get to our viewer mail, but we'll have some of that probably on Saturday's program, along with another special guest. I'm just going to tease that without telling you who it's going to be, but it's exciting. God, we're out of time again, and we are not going to have AOC on the program.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Dang.
She is
None of her for us.
in the
Unfortunate.
Zoom waiting room. Man, we got to Aaron, but
Yeah,
did
thanks
get
to
to
our
Aaron.
guest Aaron for showing up,
Yeah.
talking about Hanukkah. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. And make sure that you subscribe to us here on YouTube, and that you follow us on Twitter, and that you like us on Facebook.
Do
Thanks,
it.
everybody, once again, for coming to the show. Next show will be on Saturday, because Thursday is Christmas Eve. So
6 o'clock
Christmas Eve with your family
Pacific.
instead of with us. Sorry. Saturday. Night, everybody.
Pacific time.
Never had to.